this information session. This is actually our first virtual information session on the Pharmaceutical Industry Fellowship Program at Howard University College of Pharmacy. So you are actually part of an inaugural team. And we truly are grateful to our Dean Rantia Kiyode, for her invaluable support of this program. And I'm truly happy to be here with you all. My name is Rosemary Alajide. I am the project coordinator for the graduate programs and industrial partnerships at Howard University College of Pharmacy. And prior to this role, I worked as an industry pharmacist for over a decade in medical affairs and in other functional areas. During this session, we aim to share with you the exciting postdoctoral opportunities that you can apply to. And you'll be hearing firsthand from our current fellows. So I think this is a very unique opportunity for you all to take a chance at the end to ask questions and direct them to the fellows in the current positions that you will likely be seeking for the 2024 entry year. But before we get to that presentation, I'd like to pass it over to our fellowship leadership, Dr. Earl Etienne. Next slide, please. Dr. Etienne, would you mind introducing yourself if you are able to? I know you joined us on this call.
Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's indeed a pleasure to be part of this very unique opportunity, in my opinion. We began this process really curating fellowships and developing folks for industry way back in 2012, and we have landed where we are today, all because of the support of the individuals on this call, as well as the leadership and management at Howard University. So we're thankful for the opportunity to really bring these programs and these opportunities to you. And I will tell you that I am so excited by this process. I'm currently on sabbatical, but wanted to ensure that I was here to spend some time with you this evening. Please, no question is a dumb one. Bring all of the questions that you have. Ask everything that you want to know, because this is the time to really curate and get a good feel for where it is you wish to be. We certainly believe in creating leaders, and that is why we exist. We exist to create opportunities for individuals of promise. And I know that each and every one of you who have joined this evening is indeed an individual of promise. What you will get from me as a leader is an individual who is direct and to the point, and working very aggressively to ensure that you get nothing but the best out of your career. Thank you so much. I would not take up much more time, and I urge you to certainly, send questions after if you have any. But thank you. Godspeed.
Thank you, Dr. Etienne. Thank you very much for that. And I would tell you all that one additional member of our team that's not on this call is Mrs. Christina Flood. She is on the back end supporting everyone with financial and travel and other areas of your transition into the fellowship and during the fellowship. I want to say that she said she was very happy to see that we're having this program, but she sends her regards to everyone. Next slide. Now, the folks that are on the back end, that are fellows actually, that help to work on professional development opportunities, managing the leaders, fellow leaders that are part of this program, are our Howard University College of Pharmacy 2023-2024 lead fellows. So we have 4 lead fellows that are representing 4 partner companies that have helped partner with the fellowship leadership team to make sure that we are meeting our goals and supporting the fellows in the best way possible. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Patrick to take it over and introduce his co-lead fellows.
Thank you, Dr. Lajide. Hello, everyone. My name is Patrick Foto. I am a second-year U.S. Medical Affairs with Sanofi, and also one of the lead fellows. Prior to me joining this amazing fellowship program, I was a pharmacy student at Howard University College of Pharmacy, where I have an amazing experience. And I chose to continue this pharmaceutical industry journey with Howard University because it aligns with my personal and professional goal, and also it provides a very supportive community, so which I really love. I will go ahead and also introduce the next co-lead fellow. Her name is Musdalifa Mohammed. Unfortunately, she couldn't be able to make to this meeting. But she's also a Howard alum. She went to Howard University Pharmacy, graduated in 2022. She's a second year global / US label management and medical information fellow. She's also like very excited to be part of this program, and she's also part of this because of the supportive community that it provides. I will go ahead and pass to the next co-lead by her name Kathy Friday.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kathy Friday, and I am a first-year fellow with GSK and Howard University. I'm a regulatory affairs and health policy fellow, and I chose Howard University College of Pharmacy Pharmaceutical Industry Fellowship because of the great opportunities that is afforded to me as a first-year fellow. I've been able to take part in a lot of different projects. Even having the opportunity to lead as a first year fellow has been amazing. And at this time, I will pass it on to my other co lead, Diamond Scott.
Good afternoon or evening to you all. I'm Diamond Scott. I come from Xavier University College of Pharmacy. I am the Neuroscience Clinical Development Fellow at AbbVie. One of the reasons I decided to apply to Howard and gratefully was accepted. I'm passionate about leadership and professional development and knew I wanted to be in an environment that will cultivate my personal growth and professional growth. So I am very excited to be here with you all. And I'll pass it back to Patrick.
All right, thank you so much, Diamond. Next slide, please. All right, I will go ahead and introduce this amazing committee. They've been really like on the back end of putting this informational session together for you all. I will go ahead and pass it on to Femi Ige, so he can introduce himself and also introduce his co-committee lead. Femi, back to you.
Thank you, Patrick. Hi, everyone. My name is Femi Ige. I am the first year U.S. Medical Affairs Fellow for Sanofi. Been excited for everyone to be over here. I think it's a great opportunity. I'm just so happy the amount of growth that we've seen for the past year of how Howard is starting to be on the map. And so I'm very, very happy, and I'm very, very thrilled to be able to introduce my other fellows here. Arenze, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, my name is Arinzian Walu. I'm the second year Medical Affairs Fellow for Amgen. The reason I chose this fellowship program over others was my belief in this program as a great environment to grow professionally, not only as a PharmD, but as a leader in the pharma industry. So I'm happy that you guys can all join us today and see what we got. And I'll pass it to my co-chair, Brittany.
All right, hi everyone. My name is Brittany. I am the first year Regulatory Affairs Fellow at Genentech, mainly based in strategy. And I chose to be a part of this RU committee because, just going through the recruitment process last year, I really wanted to impact this year's cohort as well. And so I'm definitely really excited, hopefully to meet everyone through interviews. And I'll pass it back on to Femi to introduce the next slide.
Okay, so here's just a quick agenda for today. So we'll go over, like we just previously did, the leadership team. Then we're just going to go over each of the different fellowships that Howard has to offer. And then we're also going to have a portion towards the end where you can just do a Q&A. I did want to emphasize that if you did have any questions that you thought throughout the presentation, you can go ahead and put in the chat. We'll make sure to record that and make sure that we actually get those questions answered as well. So I'll pass it back to Arenze.
Hey, so yes, our mission here at Howard University College of Pharmacy is to be a premier university in teaching, learning, research, leadership, and service locally and globally. Howard University College of Pharmacy aims to deliver high-quality pharmacy education to academically accomplished, scholarly, and leadership-oriented students with a strong focus on recruiting, retaining, and graduating diverse minority students, especially African Americans. Next slide. The HU Pharmaceutical Industry Fellowship Program at Howard University College of Pharmacy seeks to develop postdoctoral fellows into capable leaders in academia, biopharmaceuticals, policy, research, and the FDA by involving them in cutting-edge projects and addressing unique patient health challenges through collaboration with their fellowship programs. Next slide. Pass it on to Brittany.
Okay, so the Howard University Fellowship Program has grown so much since it was established in 2012. And so now we partner with over 13 pharmaceutical partners, hospitals, and institutions across the nation, as you can see here. Okay, and so this slide is definitely more of a visual slide for everyone to see the different pharmaceutical companies that we partner with, as well as the fellowships that we are recruiting for this year. And so all of these fellowships listed here are recruiting for one fellow unless stated otherwise. Some are recruiting for 2 fellows. And I know AstraZeneca is recruiting specifically for 1 PharmD as well as 1 PhD fellow. Okay. And so, of course, in addition to partnering with various pharmaceutical companies, we also partner with the FDA, the Children's National Hospital, Georgetown Hospital, Howard University Hospital, and the Uptown Research Institute. And so, of course, depending on which company that you will be a fellow for, or depending on the fellowship program, the fellows will gain professional training at Howard University along with specialized experiences at a partner company site, the FDA, or with one of the hospitals located in the Washington, D.C. area. And so I know some of the fellowships have rotations, and so some of these rotations may be at the FDA or at the hospital, so it's definitely something to look for when you are applying to these fellowships. And so now we're going to go ahead and transition into each company, talking about their respective fellowships and their company. And so first off, we have AbbVie.
Hello again, everyone. I'm Diamond. I am here on behalf of all of my co-fellows at AbbVie. If I can go to the next slide, please. And so I wanted to present to you all an AbbVie overview of both fellowship opportunities that we have here at AbbVie. Here are my co-fellows. Michael, he's with Global Aesthetics Medical Affairs. Danielle Bua, she's also with Global Aesthetics Medical Affairs, and I myself with Neuroscience Clinical Development. Here at AbbVie, we aim to create an innovation-driven, patient-focused specialty biopharm company capable of achieving sustainable top-tier performance through outstanding execution and consistent stream of innovative new medicines which have remarkable impact on people's lives. And for our program overview, for the program that's recruiting 2 fellows on the medical affairs side, this is a 1-year, 12-month medical affairs fellowship where you gain opportunities to learn skills and experiences that'll help you excel within the medical affairs space. It's an integrated team between medical affairs like body contouring and other opportunities like MSL roles, and so on and so forth. This fellowship is based in Irvine, and you'll be a part of teams that support scientific content development, collaborate with other functional areas, science communication and publications. For the neuroscience clinical development program, we are recruiting in the 2024 cycle, but it is a 18 to 24 month fellowship. And here we connect with different leaders, experiences to develop and execute clinical development strategies. This one is based in Lake County, Illinois, or Chicago, and also Irvine. And a little bit of what I do here, I generate scientific and operational aspect strategies from startup through execution and closeout. Closeout just means post-market drugs. We also gain knowledge of how technology can be leveraged throughout the clinical trial process to enhance precision drug development. And last but not least, we develop and optimize study documents, including protocols, investigational brochures, clinical development plans, procedure manuals, and also clinical study plans. Next slide, please. And I'll pass it over to Amgen.
Thank you, Diamond. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Erica Lacer, and I'll be representing Amgen tonight. Next slide, please. Amgen's mission is to serve patients. We are a biotech pioneer since 1980 and one of the world's leading independent biotech companies. Our focus is on serious disease and areas of high unmet medical need. We are finding solutions that improve health outcomes and dramatically improve people's lives. And we use cutting-edge science, technology, and human genetics to identify new therapies. Next slide, please. These are our therapeutic areas of focus: oncology, inflammation, cardiovascular disease, bone health, neuroscience, and nephrology. And here's a small snapshot of our portfolio. Thank you. I'll now introduce our medical affairs partnership. We have Chanel Dubrow, Arinze Mwalu, and Gabriel Lake. In this medical affairs fellowship, the fellow will have experience focusing on developing core medical affairs competencies within various areas and will include strategic and analytical thinking, as well as execution of projects to deliver results. The goal of the fellowship is to graduate a fellow who has scientific expertise, strong business acumen, versatility, and the ability to succeed in our industry. Fellows will also gain experience within Amgen's inflammation and/or general medicine's therapeutic teams across global and U.S. scientific communications, global and U.S. medical strategy, and other areas of interest. Fellows lastly will work with members of the global and U.S. medical teams for assigned programs, particularly working closely with program global medical leads, U.S. medical leads, and members of global U.S. scientific communications, field medical, medical external events engagement, and others as appropriate. This is a 2-year fellowship with rotations, and they are recruiting 1 fellow. Next slide, please. Next, we have Global Regulatory Affairs. We have Desi Ann Julian, myself, Erica Lacer, Jessica Nwaku, and Gabriel Joseph. Projects in Global Regulatory Affairs provide learning opportunities in investigational new drug applications, biologics license applications, marketing applications, and interactions with regulatory agencies. The fellows will work with members of the Global Regulatory team, working closely with U.S. regulatory professionals, U.S. regulatory leads, and global regulatory leads. This program will be sponsoring 2 fellows. Next slide, please. And lastly, we have our pharmacovigilance program, where our current fellow is William Nampasso. The fellows in this area will be developing core pharmacovigilance competencies, including strategic and analytical thinking, as well as execution of deliverables, which include processing of individual adverse event reports, signal detection in clinical trials and post-marketing settings, benefit risk assessments, risk management plans, periodic aggregate safety reports, combination product safety, and interactions with global regulatory authorities. And this program will be recruiting for 1 fellow. Next slide, please. We will be having our Amgen specific open house on October 30th from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern, and it will be hosted on Zoom. So please stay tuned on LinkedIn as well as the website to find the link in the flyer for this program. Thank you. And next we have AstraZeneca.
All right, thank you so much. Hello, my name is Melly Pitien. I am the first year PharmD fellow for AstraZeneca Oncology Women's Cancer. And today I'll be stepping in for Nifemi, our company representative. All right, next slide. All right, so at AstraZeneca, we are a global scientific-led, patient-focused pharmaceutical company. We work tirelessly to seek and realize the potential of what science can do. Next slide. So at AstraZeneca, we are curious and we push the boundaries of science. We are creative in how we work with our partners and collaborators in order to follow the science. We're also proud to serve patients and consider them in every decision that we make and take. And we strive to understand the needs of diverse patient population and act accordingly. So we're always putting patients first. At AstraZeneca, we play to win. So we are determined to make the right choices to win, and we build high-performing, inclusive and diverse team that collaborate across the enterprise, and I can testify for that. And we're always doing the right thing. So we are accountable for our actions and success of AstraZeneca. So we speak up to ensure that we do what is aligned with our values. And also at AstraZeneca, we are entrepreneurial, so we take risks, we take smart risks, we act with urgency, and we simplify the way we work to get things done. So, of course, my name is Melly Pitien. I'm the first year U.S. Medical Affairs Fellow for the Women Cancer. And then my partner, Nifemi, she's also the first year U.S. Affairs Medical Fellow for the lung cancer, thoracic to be specific. And she's also the AstraZeneca company representative. And then we have Kelsey. She's the first year Medical Affairs Fellow for the biopharmaceutical unit, but we're not recruiting for biopharmaceutical this round. And then past fellows, we have Marilyn Okora. Right now, she's the Associate Medical Director for Women Cancer at AstraZeneca. And then we have Rachel Mayaka. She's the Medical Science Liaison for U.S. Thoracic Oncology at AstraZeneca. So the AstraZeneca Howard University Postdoctoral Fellowship in U.S. Medical Affairs Oncology, we're recruiting 2 fellows for 2 years, starting July 2024, and it's gonna run up to June of 2026. To be eligible for this fellowship, you have to have graduated with your PharmD or PhD from any HBCU by July 2024. The program is structured such that 80% of your time is going to be in the industry, and then 20% of your time is going to be university component. But if you are the PharmD fellow, part of that 20% is going to be a clinical component, and I will talk more about it in a little bit. So AstraZeneca is located in Gaithersburg, Maryland. And then Howard University, of course, is here in DC. So your time will be divided between the 2 locations. For the PharmD fellow and fellowship, that's what I'm doing right now. So the first 6 months, you're gonna have a concentrated oncology experience at a hospital. And right here, we have Georgetown University Hospital, but that's not necessarily where you're gonna be. And once you complete your 6 months clinical oncology, then the rest of your 18 months, you're gonna be at AstraZeneca, medical affairs with emphasis in medical strategy. And also, Depending on your interests, you have a chance to cross functionally train with like the medical information, commercial, or the regulatory affairs, depending on your interests and of course the company needs. And then for the university component, of course, you'll be an adjunct faculty at Howard University. So you'll be teaching the content area that you are basically that you are taking into. For example, I'm in women cancer, so I'm responsible for teaching cervical cancer and ovarian cancer. In addition to that, as a PharmD fellow, you have to get your pharmacist license within 90 days of your program start. So just like residency, they want you to be able to practice during your 6 months rotation for the concentrated oncology. And then for the for the PhD fellowship, you have the first 12 months, you're integrated into your medical affairs strategy. Again, you have that component of being cross-trained. And then the remaining of 12 months, you have that potential of being rotated with medical affairs information. You can do regulatory, you can do it, ER, all that is available to you. And in addition to that, you have your responsibility for the university, just like the PharmD. The only difference is
Are
you
any
don't have
of the
that.
programs I'm going to are any of the programs virtual or not virtual, online?
No,
Is this
so
program online?
So everything for AstraZeneca is in person. So if you are doing, for me, when I'm going to transition to doing my 18 months, so that's going to be going in 3 days a week and then 2 days off. So there's nothing virtual. So our PhD fellow, she's actually there throughout. We don't do for virtual. Thank you for the question.
And I'm sorry, for Mele, and I guess just for everyone, if you have a question, just please put it in the chat, just so that we can make sure that we address it correctly, just to make sure that, we keep the flow going. Sorry, Mele, you can continue.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm from New Jersey. Okay, I just wanted to see the chat is on the top. Very good. Thank you for
No worries.
Thank you, Femi. Next slide. I think there's something in the bottom. All right, thank you. So for the application requirement, so we require that you give us your CV, letter of intent, 2 letter of recommendation. Please turn it into one big file, just all together, and then you submit that to Dr. Etienne emails, earl.etienne@howard.edu, and Dr. Rosemary Olajide, so that ifidapu rosemary.ola@howard.edu. And please make sure you CC us AZHU fellowship programs at AstraZeneca.com. And the deadline for our fellowship is actually October 13. So go ahead and submit those applications. We see those emails on a daily basis. So we'll be able to see your email as soon as it comes in. All right, so next is Spire. Pass it on. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mele. And for everyone, we will share the general program eligibility requirements and how to apply towards the end of this presentation. And I am pleased to share about Bayer. Next slide, please. This is actually a new partnership for the fellowship program. And Bayer Howard Postdoctoral Fellowships will be hosting 2 fellows for the 2024-2026 seasons. On the left side, you see the fellowship program director for advertising and promotion, regulatory affairs. And on the right side of the slide, you see Dr. Larry McCollum, who is the Director of Medical Affairs Communications. And if you go on to the next slide, click next, they are having an open house on the 17th of October at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have any questions, reach out to us and we can provide you with additional information. Next slide, please. So just really quick, they will be recruiting one fellow for a 2-year fellowship starting in July 2024 through 2026 for U.S. regulatory affairs, as well as for medical affairs communications. So these are going to be exciting opportunities for folks that want to work through FDA promotions or even other aspects of regulatory affairs, as well as if you're interested in medical affairs, medical communications, you get these opportunities at Bayer. Next slide. Next, I'll pass it over to BioMarin. Ramon?
Hey everyone, thanks for your interest in the Howard University Fellowships, as well as in BioMarin. My name is Ramon Kelly, the company representative and second-year fellow at BioMarin. Next slide, if you can advance, please. Our company is based in San Rafael, California, and is focused on developing and supporting innovative and life-saving medicines geared towards patients affected by rare disease. Next slide. And you can advance to the next one. So our 4 core attributes that drive our slogan of translating discovery into medicines are listed on the screen. Once a fellow joins the team, they will experience how evident and instrumental these processes are and how they shape the strategies used to get our medicines approved for patients in various markets. Next slide. BioMarin will be recruiting one fellow for the 2024-2026 cycle, focusing on clinical and non-clinical regulatory strategy development and implementation. The fellow will gain experience working on early development programs and knowledge pertaining to IND enabling activities. Next slide. The joint fellowship has our fellow at Howard University for 6 months. For period 1, the fellow will participate in scholarly activities to increase their regulatory knowledge through courses like legislation and regulation offered by Howard School of Law, and also the coordination of pharmacy jurisprudence at the College of Pharmacy. Next slide. Oh, sorry. If you could go back one more. So period 2, we'll have the fellow working with global regulatory leads, participating in various sub-teams and working cross-functionally to drive the development of these early programs. The fellowship is also tailored to the fellow's interests with opportunities to rotate into other reg functions such as regulatory policy, labeling, and chemistry, manufacturing, and control as a few examples. And I will pass it off to Genentech.
All right, thank you all for being here today. My name is Kingsley Agbor. I am the first year inaugural Howard Genentech first U.S. Medical Affairs Field Medical Fellow with Customer Engagement. I was here a year ago in your position, so I hope this sessions are beneficial to you because it was to me. So. Next slide, please. Next one. All right, so a little bit about Genentech. Genentech is the world's first biotech company. It was founded in 1976, and it has been delivering on the promise of biotechnology for more than 45 years. The headquarters is in San Francisco, South San Francisco, California. In 2009, Genentech became a member of the Roche Group, along with 2 other companies, Spark and Chuga. At this present moment, we have 13,500 employees in the U.S. Also to mention a little bit about the Roche Group, it was founded in 1896, headquarters in Basel, Switzerland, and currently there's 90,000 employees in over 100 countries, including Roche Genentech employees, about 28,500. Next slide, please. So as part of the Roche Group, Genentech Pillars and Roche Purposes statement are focused around our patients. Our pillars are being patients, science, and the people. As for our patients, we're doing what the patients need next. So we believe in the urgency of delivering medical solutions now. For the science, we focus on the science, committing ourselves to the scientific rigor, on the syllable ethics, and also a set access to medical innovation for everybody. Finally, for the people, employees, we are Roche. We create, we sustain a culture of excellence and entrepreneurial spirit. Next slide, please. And these are our current fellows. There's 9 of us, first-year fellows over several functional areas. And this year, we'll be recruiting for 2 more positions. Next slide, please. So the first position, which is currently occupied by our fellow Brittany Fan, will be regulatory affairs. This is a 2-year tenure, and we are recruiting 1 fellow. The first year and 6 months, the fellow will be trained on several aspects of the company's operation as it pertains to regulatory affairs, to facilitate drug development as it meets the health authorities, patients, and also the prescribers. The last 6 months, the fellow will have an opportunity to rotate at the FDA. Next slide, please. Our second position is also 2 years. This position will be remote. It is product development, medical affairs with patient partnership, and it's currently our first-year fellow is Simone Nasrudin. The fellow will learn how to collaborate with global patient communities across the product life cycles, encompassing global research, product development, evidence generations, and access to markets and countries. Next slide, please. We do have an open house if you want to learn more about these positions that we have offer, or if you want to know more about Genentech as a company as a whole, please join us October 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Pacific time. Register with this code. If you have your phones, you can pull it out, scan this code, and definitely we'll see y'all there on the 11th, which is tomorrow. And I will pass, next slide. Pass this on, I guess, to Femi.
So hello, everyone. So we just wanted to take some time to just have a break in between our next companies that are going to be coming out. So I'm going to say a 10-minute break right now, so everyone can come back 10 minutes from now. So on the East Coast, that would be 7:55. Give you guys an extra minute. So you guys can come back and then we'll get started again.
Thank you very much, guys. And for those that are really excited and have questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat. We'll make sure to collate them and get to them during the Q&A session. And honestly, during this 10-minute break, if a few folks want to ask questions, we can take them as well.
Hi, I have a question. My name is Uju. I just have a general question. So,
hi, Uju. How are you doing?
Good.
Could you also introduce a little bit about yourself? Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I mean, most people know me. My name is Uju. I am a P4 plus, and I am a Howard University College of Pharmacy student, and I'm just completing my final rotations currently with Dr. Naniel, and I'm really interested in the pharmaceutical industry, so I'm just here to learn and get as much information as I can. So my general question is, how do you guys handle the work-life balance? And then also, how are you guys able to manage the meetings? Because I know there's a lot of meetings that you have to go through throughout the day. So how do you manage that plus working at the same time? And that's my question.
Now pass it over to Femi to moderate this.
Got
Great
you.
question.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So you wanted to know about the work-life balance, and then your second part was?
How do you guys handle your meetings? Like, I know you have a lot of meetings throughout the day. How are you able to do that plus getting your work done outside of the meetings, I would say?
Of course. So as far as work-life balance, we are all pharmacies, well, graduates or soon to be graduates of pharmacy school. So in general, you just have to make sure you manage your time. So in pharmacy school, you're taught like, how to study, how to make sure that you have everything done. And so if you're able to really conquer that aspect, the work-life balance becomes very, very easy. And so with pharma, of course, you're not working, in a community pharmacy where you're, pulled at so many different ways. So I would say the work-life balance is amazing. You just have to make sure that you do complete your tasks and make sure that you stay on top of things. And so, yeah, to answer your question, it's really, really good. As far as like juggling different meetings and projects, you just have to make sure that you're trying to look out for yourself too. So I would never put back-to-back meetings. I want to make sure that I can focus on one meeting. And also you just have to vocalize that to your preceptor, because sometimes the preceptor won't even really know what you're doing. Like they can see your schedule, but there's so many things that you're going through. And so for me, I keep a whole Excel sheet with all my projects, make sure I have all like my meetings set. And so then when things arise, then I can communicate that with my preceptor, move around different meetings to make sure that everything is aligned, to make sure I get the best product from myself. I don't know if anyone else wants to add to that point, but that's just kind of like my point. I don't know, Arenze, if you want to add something to that, or Brittany.
No, I think you said it well. You do have the I mean, I can only speak for my company, and in my company, they're also very understanding if you don't have too much time, or you've got too many meetings, or whatever the situation is. So it really is about managing your own time, and making sure that you don't overbook yourself. And that's all I can add to that.
And something that I did during my rotations was give myself like focus hours. So I would actually book myself with myself and write
Yeah.
focus hour. And then
So-
someone could like just put a meeting, like that's the time I would just go ahead and work on whatever project I'm working on and task I'm working on, and like really give it that 1 hour. And then if there's another meeting, and then I'll have another focus hour. So just kind of blocking out your own time in your schedule for everyone to kind of know that don't book with me like I'm working. So that really helped.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because it's a common thing here at Amgen where we practice Focus Fridays, where Fridays are usually booked off for most people just for them to get their work done.
I hope we answered your question for that, Uju.
Yes, thank you guys.
Mhm.
No problem.
Hi,
So,
is it okay if I ask one question, please?
of course, yeah.
I don't know if we're out of time. Okay, so my name is Patience. I'm a graduate. I graduated in May of this year. I currently work at Wargrain. I also an MBA holder too. So my question is, if you're applying for more than one position, in regard to the letter of intent, do we have to, in our letter of intent, do we have to list um, each company in our letter of intent? That's one of my questions. And the other question is, I wanted to know the onboarding process, given that a lot of us has never worked in pharma before. And I just wanted to know what the onboarding process is for everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll direct that question to Dr. Olajide. She can give a very clear answer on that one.
Thank you, Femi, and thank you, Patience. I really appreciate that question. Onboarding and transitioning is really important to us. A part of the Howard component is professional development opportunities. And we actually include our fellows now in different committees so that we are able to now provide some of the best onboarding for the future cohort. So they kind of gone through some of the transitions and learnings, and in turn, they're going to be helping to onboard and or provide good best practices to future fellows. And the first question you had was about the LOIs, the letter of intent. So what we're asking is that you have a letter of intent for each position that you are applying for. This is a very competitive application process, and we would love to understand why you are interested in different positions. So give it a thought and provide an LOI for each position. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I hope that answered your question. And I think we do have time for one more question. I don't know if there's any here.
Hi, I have one question. My name is Marina. I go to school at the University of Rhode Island. So I'm really interested in the medical communications fellowship with Bayer. I did have a question about whether that's also going to be in person or remote.
Yeah, so I'll shift that question to the Bayer. Dr. Elijah, yeah, that's you. So go ahead and answer that one.
Dr. Lodge, I believe I saw Dr. McCollum.
He
join.
is. Yes, yes.
Dr.
Hi, Dr. McCollum.
Hello, Dr. Lodge. Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm Larry McCollum, Program Director at Bayer. For the fellowship program, as well as Director of Medical Affairs Communication and Oncology. And your question is, are you remote or are you on site?
Yes.
Correct? Yeah, our program actually is an on-site program. So it's a hybrid program where we're actually in the office 2 to 3 days a week. And then the other days are actually remote.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then I also have a follow-up question in regards to the program itself. So you mentioned that there's different leadership opportunities. What are the opportunities within the Howard program as far as fellow interactions and taking initiative with leading these, for example, today's presentation?
Excellent question. And I think you're volunteering yourself for a leadership position in the future, Marina. Yeah, so as far as the professional development opportunities, the leadership opportunities are really important. Not only do we provide one-on-one coaching opportunities for you all, we get you immersed in program development. So as you can see, we have year 1 and year 2 fellows essentially leading this presentation. So you'll have opportunities to do that through committees. The RU committee is here today. We have a social media committee. We have professional development, scholarly activities, community engagement. So we have quite a few of opportunities for you to develop yourself. And we also have opportunity in project management. So you get a chance to get trainings in project management and receive your certification. So thank you for asking that question.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay, so I do see you guys are very active. We will save some time at the end for some questions. I didn't want to ignore anyone that does have their hand raised, but we are going to have some time towards the end so that you guys can ask your questions. So we'll just get started. So we have next GSK.
All righty. Good afternoon or evening, everyone. My name is Philip Matthew, and I am a Medical Affairs Fellow at Howard University and GSK, and I'm the lead fellow for our GSK program. I want to thank you all for continuing to push on. I know this is a long session, but it's a very informative and a very helpful session. So whether it's GSK or whether it's any of the companies, I applaud all of you for pushing through this session today. So next slide, please. And so I'm going to be speaking about our different programs. We have 3 different areas. We have programs or fellowship opportunities in medical affairs, U.S. medical affairs, in regulatory affairs, that's global facing, and then a new opportunity actually in medical information. Next slide, please. So I'd like to just share some information about GSK as a whole. GSK's purpose is really to unite science, technology, and talent to get together in terms of getting ahead of disease. So we partner with health systems, companies worldwide, and really focus on various disease management, not just on the therapies, but on disease prevention and education overall. Our CEO is actually a Dame, fun fact. This is a company that's based originally or headquartered in the UK. And her quote is, GSK is a company where everyone can be themselves and where diversity is embraced and celebrated. We each hold ourselves accountable for ensuring that respect and inclusivity are at the very heart of our culture as a company. So I think that really showcases that focus that we have here uniquely with Howard University, focusing on minority populations and globally with GSK partnering to be a champion for everyone's voice. So our focus together is, understanding our purpose of uniting science and technology. We have a strategy and a culture that's focused on being ambitious, being accountable, and being strategic, doing the right thing. Next slide, please. So that really ties into our partnership with Howard University. Here at Howard University, we have that opportunity to work in different settings. I speak on behalf of the medical affairs team, where we are currently in a clinical setting that I'll talk to in just a moment. But we also have global regulatory affairs folks, and those fellows are also working in different diverse settings with Howard University, with the School of Law, with the FDA, and of course with GSK. And our goal with all of these fellowship programs is to develop pharmaceutical industry professionals that really showcase leadership and showcase innovation in that process. Next slide, please. These are some of the friendly faces that you'll see if you have the opportunity to come join us. So we have some of our second years on the top there, and then our first years, myself included in that picture there, and our first years below. And if you might also notice that Kathy is also on the call. She is one of our lead fellows for the overall Howard program. Next slide, please. All right, so this is the meat and potatoes essentially here. These are subject to slight changes here, but first off, we have our medical affairs. These are 2-year positions. So we're recruiting for a number of categories. First, we have the airborne infectious disease and respiratory. That's the team that I will be on specifically. We have recruiting opportunities for 2 fellows. We have 2 fellow opportunities for vaccine development, 1 for oncology and 1 for specialty. And all of us right now are actually spending the first 6 months of our program at Children's National Hospital in Washington, D.C. And so this is really focusing on the translation of taking operational work, taking the clinical side, and learning about how it translates to the pharmaceutical industry, so that when we join our teams respectively, we'll be able to really highlight and understand the different strategies and understand how each of these categories translate. Next slide, please. Okay, I think the slide got a little jumbled. Could you actually go back to the previous slide? All right, so I don't have it written on the slides here, but I'll just speak verbatim about the regulatory affair opportunity as well. And so the regulatory affairs, we're recruiting for 2 fellows for the global regulatory affairs and policy. So those folks, like I mentioned, will also spend the first 6 months at Howard University at DC, where they will learn at the School of Law. They'll learn about writing manuscripts and perhaps different adjunct faculty teaching opportunities. Those fellows will also spend 1 year at GSK with having 3 different rotations in regulatory, such as an ad promo, and then they'll spend the remaining 6 months at the FDA, either in patient labeling or regulatory policy. And next slide, please. The last point that we have that I don't have too much info yet because it's the exciting opportunity is our medical information track. That fellowship is still in progress, but we will plan to have our brochure forthcoming in the next few weeks. So please be on the lookout for that. And again, just to highlight, our particular program is A little bit different. We're having interviews to be conducting on a rolling basis through February of 2024. Of course, early applications are highly encouraged. The interview or the application process itself is the same as with Howard University. And I just want to really emphasize that timeline is a little bit longer in duration. Any questions we can highlight at the end, and we hope to share our brochure soon.
Hi, everyone. So the next one is Jansen. Next slide, please. So hi, my name is Virya White, or I also go by Vicky. So I'm the second year fellow for Scientific Affairs of Janssen and Howard University postdoctoral fellowship. So I'm so excited to talk to you about the exciting opportunity that Janssen and Howard University offer. Next slide, please. So Janssen is a pharmaceutical company of Johnson & Johnson, and we are constantly focused on serving patients and making groundbreaking discoveries. There's a 6 main therapeutic areas that Janssen focus on: cardiovascular and metabolism disease, immunology, infectious disease and vaccines, neuroscience, oncology, and pulmonary hypertension. Next slide, please. So about our programs. So this year we are recruiting 2 positions. So the first position will be with Howard and Janssen Scientific Affairs Fellowship. So for our current fellow, the first year is Amina Nathan-Bu-Jones, and for the second year is myself, Virya White. And for the another program is Global Regulatory Policy and Intelligence Fellowship. We're recruiting 1 position, and the current first year fellow is Adesi Anthony Weiss. Next slide, please. Okay. For more detail about Howard Janssen Scientific Affairs Fellowship, so this fellowship program contains 4 rotations. The first rotation will be with medical information, and the second one will be with payer and health system, followed by medical affairs, and the last rotation will be value and evidence scientific engagement. Or many of you might know in the term of HEOR, or health economic outcome research. And this position will locate in Titusville, New Jersey, along with opportunity to travel for conference. For the timeline, so the first 6 months, the fellow will work for the first 6 months from January until December 2024, the fellow will work with 2 teams, which is medical information and payer and health system. After that, start from January until December 2025, fellow will work with 3 teams at the same time. So it will be medical information, payer and health system, and medical affairs. And the last 6 months from January until June 2026, the fellow will work with V&E team. However, regardless the overlap of the rotations, the overall experience that the fellow will gain will equal 12 months of experience with medical information, payer and health system, and 6 months with medical affairs, and also 6 months with V&E. Next slide, please. And the next position that we're recruiting is with a Global Regulatory Policy and Intelligence Fellowship. So this fellowship consists of 3 rotations with Howard, with FDA, and also Janssen Global Regulatory Policy and Intelligence. And this position will be located in Washington, D.C. For program timelines, for the first 6 months from July until December 2024, the fellow will be with Howard. And the next 12 months from January until December 2025, the fellow will be with Janssen. And the last 6 months from January until June 2026, fellow will be with the FDA program. And next slide, please. So for more information, for anyone who interested in apply for Janssen and Howard Fellowship Program, we have upcoming 2 information sessions. The first one will be on October 12th, which is this Thursday, and the second one will be on October 24th. And board information section will be from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So please feel free to scan the QR code and registration. Or if you miss and you have a problem, cannot scan the QR code, you can find the flyer that posted on the fellowship event calendar on IPSO website along with our brochure. So next, I will hand over to the next company, Moderna.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is I am the Global Regulatory Policy and Intelligence Fellow at Moderna, and I'm also the inaugural fellow. This is the first time this partnership is taking place, so it's a very exciting time, and this is a brand new fellowship. We can go to the next slide. Okay, starting off with Moderna's values as a company. The four things that Moderna stands for can be really seen within the company as you work. Even from their work that you see, the values are very evident. It is being bold. So being bold in creativeness and the bold spirit of and of everyone who works for the company is seen, and being a visionary is an important aspect of the company. And this is what kind of led to Moderna winning the quote unquote race of the vaccines during the pandemic. Collaboration within the sciences, within each other, like each of the fellowship opportunities that are there, and being innovative. The mRNA technology itself is Moderna is the only one who has it, and that in itself shows the innovation that the company pushes toward and values, and individuals that bring innovation to the company. And relentlessness. That's one of the things, as we saw in the pandemic, patients are at the center, at the core of the company, and finding solutions in a safe way, effective way, and fast is important. So being relentlessness in individuals is very important, and in fellows that will be joining. Okay, we can go to the next one. Okay, I quickly wanted to talk about the Moderna mindset, because this is also something that if it aligns with the person is something you can see going into a company like Moderna. So working with urgency, as I spoke earlier on it, bringing fast results into pharma, working in parallel, accepting risk, being a risk taker, innovation, obsessing over learning, constantly learning what's new on the market, pivoting fearlessly. Moderna as a company pivoted from oncology to vaccines and COVID when it was needed, and use the technology for that. So the pivot is what they expect from individuals who work there as well, to focus on how to help people the best way possible. Questioning convention, pushing past what is possible, what is seen as possible in pharma, and behaving like owners. That is one of the things I think attracted me to Moderna the most, is being an individual as a fellow, able to work on projects that really feeling like I belong there and I'm making a difference in patients' lives. And as a pharmacist, we train for that. So being able to do that on a larger scale with a company like Moderna is something great. Having dynamic range, removing any barriers within pharma, and then also prioritizing the mRNA platform. I can go in detail about the mRNA platform, but basically the fact that every product Moderna puts out, none of them have failed. Like 3 out of 3 vaccines are working, 3 out of 3 oncology products are working. So kind of seeing that mRNA technology being so helpful to patients in such a short amount of time, and digitize wherever possible. Okay, we can go to the next one. Okay, some of the advantages of this from a fellowship standpoint is I asked some of the fellows who are with different schools, but they're Moderna fellows, since this is a brand new fellowship, is that since it is a smaller, newer, not a newer company, it was fast growing. It went from very small pharma company to suddenly now being a big one, so it's fast growing. But the fellowship program is fairly new, so you get to shape the program as a fellow. So currently, me as a fellow, I'm shaping the program to see how to make it best work for those that are coming in the future. we have flexibility within the program if it gets tailored to you as a fellow. So if you want to work within a certain area in global regulatory, it's available to you. It's very tailored. It's a very unique experience for each individual. And you get to work with very highly skilled individuals. That's something I can speak on because my preceptor has so much insane work experience, and so he's so skilled in what he does, and just having all that knowledge available to me has been such a great experience. And yeah, smaller structured allows for the deeper connections with other team members, and you really feel like as a pharmacist making a difference in the patient's lives on such a huge scale. Okay, next one. Okay, as for the program, there is recruiting is for one fellow, and it is for the global regulatory and policy. So some of the rotations that are available are ad and promo, labeling, operations, international regulatory affairs, safety, and pharmacovigilance. And as I spoke on earlier, they will be assigned based on the interest of the fellow. So if you have personal interest in one of the areas more than the other, projects will be, if available, will be given to you so that you can apply yourself. And also, if outside of regulatory as well, if you, for example, in medical affairs, if there's a project you want to work on, you're free to do that. That is something you can talk to your preceptor about, and they can make it available for you and really tailor to what you need. Okay, the next one. Okay, and the rotational structure is the first part, the 6 months are at Howard University. So where there's the teaching certificate portion, law classes, such as legal writing, and a few other courses that are available through the Howard Law School. And then the second rotation is at Moderna, which will be all the rotations that I spoke on earlier. And one of the exciting things I think is that there's so much in the pipeline. Right now there's a flu and COVID vaccine that is currently going to phase 3. So, and since mRNA is a newer technology, it's not a lot of policies are present, not even just in the US, but globally. And you as a fellow get to work on creating those policies from scratch. So I think that is a very unique experience and opportunity that is available. And it's very exciting that Howard has this partnership now. And that is all from me. We can go on to the next one. Pfizer.
Okay, thank you, Ivy. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you all for joining us here today. I know this is an exciting and nerve-wracking time in all our lives, but I just want to say that you're all doing the right things. You're going the right direction by being on this meeting. Next slide, please. Okay, so my name's Emmanuel Punk. I am a first-year Global Labeling Management U.S. Medical Information Fellow with Pfizer. Tonight, I'll be providing a brief overview about Pfizer and our fellowship program. Next slide, please. So a little bit about Pfizer. Pfizer's purpose is breakthroughs that change lives. As a company, we innovate every day to make the world a healthier place. And this fuels everything we do and reflects our passion for building our legacy as one of the greatest contributors for good to the world. Our 2027 company ambition is to change 1 billion lives a year. Pfizer is driven by 5 core business principles as seen on this slide. One is trust is everything, so always acting with integrity, focusing on creating more leaders, and working hard to become the most trusted health brand. Science will win, which involves really trusting science and what science can do, taking on the world's biggest diseases, bringing the best of the outside inside, and creation at the frontier. Disruption calls for innovation, so focusing on accessibility by placing health information at people's fingertips, innovative drug development, and powering the biotech ecosystem as a whole. The fourth principle is time is life. So this involves developing medicines at light speed approach, accelerating the supply of those medications to reach every patient as we all experience through the coronavirus, and finally making a difference through execution. Pfizer's core values include courage, which involves thinking big, speaking up, and being decisive. Excellence, which means performing at our best together. Equity, because every person deserves to be seen, heard, and cared for. and also finding joy by taking pride in what we do, recognizing one another, and having fun in general. Next slide, please. So this slide provides an overview of some of the experiences the fellow can expect to be exposed to through the fellowship. Unfortunately, we will not be recruiting for this cycle. This fellowship is a 2-year fellowship in which the fellow spends the first year in global labeling management and the second year in U.S. medical information. So in global labeling management, the fellow can expect to develop a comprehensive knowledge about product labeling, be involved in creation, revision, and maintenance of core data sheet, United States prescribing information, and summary of product characteristics, which more on the side of the EU. On the medical information side, which is the second year of the fellowship, fellows gain an experience in maintaining and optimizing medical information documents, working with cross-functional teams such as medical, commercial, regulatory, and also develop strong professional skills throughout their time. Next slide, please. So the current fellows are myself and Muzdalifa Mohammed, who's the inaugural fellow for this fellowship. She's currently completing the medical information aspect of the fellowship and also one of the lead fellows for Howard University's fellowship program. And I'll now hand it off to Sanofi. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think Demi is online to speak about Sanofi.
Yes, I am. Sorry, I was
you.
just on mute talking to myself. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dimitra Anastasiadis. I also go by Demi. I'm the current second-year fellow at Sanofi, and I have the honor of representing this company. I'm so glad to see everyone here. See a lot of PharmDs and interested PhD candidates that are trying to pursue and grow their career in the industry. As you can see, we have so many programs, so many fellowship opportunities that are all great. So going into the next slide. So I'm going to touch on our programs and give a little bit overview of Sanofi as a company, talk about our commitment to this fellowship program and the current recruiting position. So you can go into the next slide as well. Okay, so going into Sanofi as a company, so we are a modern healthcare company bringing together talented people and innovating science to transform the practice of medicine. As a company, we're driven by a unified purpose of which we chase the miracles of science to improve people's lives. Our ambition is turning the impossible into possible for millions of people around the world. And to reach our ambition, we are focused on delivering our play to win strategy, which is composed of 4 key priorities that you see on the slide. The first one being focusing on growth, prioritizing our portfolio to strengthen our company's profile. We lead with innovation, bringing transformative therapies to our patients. We accelerate efficiency by taking decisive actions and reinvesting into our pipeline and reinvent how we work. As a company, we're built by 3 global business units, which are focused on our play to win strategy, those being specialty care, vaccines, and general medicines. And in those business units, we have a rich pipeline. We currently have 78 clinical stage projects across those 6 therapeutic areas. And some of those are new molecular entities, while others are existing products of Sanofi that are exploring new indications or different formulations. So in specialty care, we have a broad amount of therapeutic areas, those being immunology, oncology, neurology, rare disease, and rare blood disease. And then vaccines and general medicine is their own business unit. So go into the next slide, please. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about our people at Sanofi. So the people at Sanofi are dedicating to chasing the miracles of science to improve people's lives. Our promise to our employees is to pursue progress and to discover extraordinary together. And we do that by pursuing better science, better medications, and better outcomes. As a company, we are committed to society. We're committed to getting medicines and vaccines to those who need them the most, and taking better care of the planet and reflecting the diversity of the communities we serve. So in order to do that and all that progress, we need people. So we have people from diverse backgrounds in various places around the world, and they're all performing distinct roles as a unified team. So our employees are people that explore more. So they're sharing our purpose and our skills. They chase change and embrace innovative ideas. They do right for the business. They do right for patients. They do right for society and for the planet. And we make miracles by taking thoughtful risks to find better solutions for the people we serve. A part of our DE&I strategy, we have three strategies. We reflect, we unleash, and we transform. And with reflecting, we build a workforce of diversity. Unleash, we are creating an inclusive workplace and culture. And then we transform by engaging our diverse communities. We can go into the next slide, please. So entering our fellowship program, we're supported by a dedicated leadership team focused on our success. Raquel Mora, who is the head of R&D Global Operations North America, is the executive sponsor of the program partnership, with Beata McCormack as the fellowship program stakeholder or lead. They both are very committed to this program. Additionally, there is a committed steering committee, which provides guidance and direction for the success of this fellowship program. I also sit as the company representative, and I had the opportunity to contribute to projects on enhancing our program internally at Sanofi, as well as many other fellows that sit on the leadership team, such as the brochure committee, the Sanofi orientation leads, and the Sanofi fellow events committee. And they're all compromised on one goal of making sure that our success is brought to light with our fellowship, as well as building on our professional development and expanding our networks internally. So I'd like to give a shout out to some of the fellows that are currently here. So we have Julia Garza, who sits on the steering committee as well as the brochure committee, and Esteban Fallos, who sits on the brochure committee, and Patrick Fatso and Li Ji Tan, who are part of the events committee and orientation leads. We can go into the next slide. So Sanofi is only recruiting for two-year fellowships. We are recruiting for many positions starting July of 2024. We have 14 postdoctoral positions open within 12 unique departments. They each sit in either R&D, medical, or corporate affairs. This is just a glance of all the positions that are out there. It's too many positions to go into so much depth, so I'd like to go into the next slide and cover some topics. So into the next slide, Sanofi has three main offices, one being in Bridgewater. You can see in the parentheses, it says Morristown. We just want to let the fellow know that we will be relocating to a new neighborhood in Jersey. It's a nearby neighborhood. Just want to let people know if they're considering applying. So there's two positions currently that will be based out of the Bridgewater or Morristown office, the one being development, clinical sciences, and operations. They're looking for one PharmD. Then we have development, translational medicine, and early development looking for a PhD candidate. In Cambridge, that is our headquarters. We have 8 different positions that would require the fellow to relocate. I do want to highlight, though, that Sanofi does have and embraces a hybrid work environment to the extent of the position's role and function. Some of these functions, because they are research-based or development-based, they will require you to be on site or in the lab. We can go into more detail if needed, but this is just a high-level overview for you guys to see. I do want to highlight and spotlight some of my current fellows on the line. So I'll start off with Li Ji Tan, who's a second-year PharmD postdoctoral fellow in clinical development in immunology and inflammation, and she will give us an overview of the goal of her position. So to you, Li Ji.
Thank you, Demi. Hi, everyone. My name is Liji, and like Demi said, I'm a second-year fellow in late-phase clinical development focused on immunology and inflammation. There is also another position open for early phase clinical development, and the goal of this fellowship is to develop fellows into a clinical development leader with a broad understanding of the clinical development process. Thank you.
Thank you, Liji. And then we'll pass it over to Jihei. She's the second-year PharmD postdoctoral fellow on global regulatory affairs.
Thank you, Demi. Hi, everyone. My name is Jihei, and I'm the inaugural second-year fellow in regulatory affairs strategy. My focus is in oncology within specialty care, and we'll be recruiting from one fellow this year. This fellowship is focused on providing the fellow with the necessary skills and tools to become a knowledgeable, confident, and strategic regulatory affairs strategist. Through this fellowship, the fellow will gain hands-on experience across a variety of areas within the Global Regulatory Affairs Department, developing a well-rounded understanding of the regulatory functions and drug development process from early stage all the way through post-marketing. Thank you. And I'll pass it on to Patrick.
Hello, everyone. Hello again. So my name is Patrick Fosso. I'm the second year U.S. Medical Affairs with Sanofi and also one of the lead fellows for the Howard University College of Pharmacy Pharmaceutical Industry Fellowship Program. Our fellowship goal is to develop a fellow into being a great MSL on the field. We're going to be recruiting for one fellow this year, and we do have our first-year fellow who's been doing extremely well by the name of Femi Ige. He's also a great moderator tonight. So if you guys want to know more details about the U.S. Medical Affairs Fellowship, reach out to me or Femi. I'll pass it back to you, Demi.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, guys, and thank you for providing a quick overview. I'll speak on behalf of the U.S. Patient Advocacy and Policy, as that's my role. So that role will be based out in Washington, D.C., and it will provide the incoming fellow with necessary hands-on experience, knowledge, and skills to make a positive impact on patient health outcomes. The fellow will have the opportunity to enhance their understanding of the U.S. healthcare system through leadership on cross-functional projects and establish partnerships with patient advocacy organizations and professional societies. So this is just a glimpse of all the positions we have at Sanofi. We are very honored to continue growing our program. And along with everyone that spoke, we are the inaugural fellows, and we are so pleased to see that it's growing to over 20 positions right now, and we're going to be recruiting for 14 more. So Femi, if we could go into the next slide. I would like to give a shout out, and this is just a quick glimpse of most of our fellows. They're not all here at our orientation this year, us welcoming our first years. And I want to thank you all for taking the time tonight to hear us all out. And I'll end off by saying to be on the look for an upcoming open house session where we'll have the opportunity to go into more detail of each of these positions, and you'll get to meet the preceptors or hear from the preceptors directly or the department heads as to what they do in their departments. And stay tuned to see the release of our brochure, which should be coming out shortly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, all the fellows. I really appreciate that you all came out and spoke to your experiences. I know that the prospective fellows and candidates on the line truly appreciate it. I wanted to take just a moment to talk about the overall requirements for the Howard University College of Pharmacy Fellowship Program. As you may already be aware, applications are already being accepted. So we opened the portal September 15th, and we are accepting applications through November 23rd, 2023. Early applications are highly encouraged because you can see all these positions. I'm sure Many folks are competing for them, so early applications are highly encouraged. Interviews will be conducted on a rolling basis, and generally speaking, these interviews will probably start in late October on the Howard side. So you'll be able to speak to Howard folks first, and then you will transition into interviews with these partner companies. Please use the portal. We're requiring that you be graduated with a PharmD or PhD in pharmaceutical sciences or related discipline, or will be by the start of the fellowship. You need to submit your CV, your letter of intent, or as I said previously, letter of intents if you are applying for multiple positions. You need to submit 3 letters of recommendation and an unofficial transcript of your PharmD or PhD coursework. And the email address to the fellowship program is at the bottom of the screen, pharmacy.fellowship@howard.edu. Feel free to submit any inquiries that you have. And if we are not able to get to all your questions today, we will be contacting you individually through that email address. And on the left-hand side is the QR code for the application portal. You can take a moment now to scan it to submit your applications if you have not already done so. So next, I am going to open it up. We know that you've been here for an hour and a half now, so thank you very much. Would like to open it up for questions, and I know that Kathy Friday will be helping to moderate that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Eli, today for going over application requirements, because I know there's a lot of questions about that our applicants have. So at this time, welcome to the Q&A part of the session. You guys have heard from us, and we would love to hear from you what questions or concerns you may have. I placed the directions in the chat as well, but I'll just read that over. At this time, the fellowship leaders, the company representatives, and current fellows will be available to answer your questions. And there are 2 ways you can state your questions. We highly encourage you to turn on your camera. We want to see you guys and unmute to ask your questions. When you do, please introduce yourself, what university you currently attend, and what year you will be graduating, and then state your question. We do want to keep a record of those who attend as well as to reach out to you with a response just in case we're not able to give you a full answer to your question today. Or you can always place your question here in the main chat and we'll get to it as we go through this session. So please raise your hand and we will ask you to come on camera to ask your question. And I know I've seen some hand raised already. And I will get to those people. And our first hand raised is Christian Jordan Jackson. So could you please come on and introduce yourself and state your question?
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Christian Jackson. I attend the University of Findlay College of Pharmacy located in Findlay, Ohio. I'm a P6, so it's the same as a P4. We have a unique program that goes from 0 to 6. And I graduate May of 2024. And so my question is for the fellows in medical affairs. And my question is, how is a fellow's success evaluated? Or I guess, how is a fellow success evaluated? Or like what goals is it measured against?
And at this time, I will open the floor up to any of our Med Affairs fellows to answer this question.
Well, I can go ahead and answer that. Just a quick, thank you for that question, by the way. So I'm with Genentech, so I'm their Field Medical Affairs Fellow here. So evaluation. So for me, my evaluation usually goes I do meet with my preceptor once a week. We have projects that we actually work on a, I guess right now I'm training, so my training is going for like 6 months. But 50% of the time, I'm also doing a project as well. So I meet like every 2 weeks and kind of evaluate like, what am I doing? What do I need? How can they better assist me? What tools do I need? Who can I connect with in a sense? So that's pretty much what the evaluation looks like at the beginning of your fellowship. It's not too demanding. It's more of like just learning the company, learning what goes on, who to talk to. You're more networking. I think towards my second year, like a greater evaluation in a certain scheme might come up like, hey, okay, so after 6 months, I might be able to take on a specific area, like a disease state or a TA, therapeutic area, and just work it while somebody's on a sabbatical. So usually if they take a sabbatical, I can jump in and see what I've learned for those whatever 6 weeks they're gone. And that's kind of the evaluation that usually happens on my end being a field medical.
Thank you.
That answers your question.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kingsley, for your response. And thank you very much, Christian, for your question. That was a great question. At this time, our other participant that would like to ask a question, I'll open it up to Ophelia. Ophelia, if you can unmute and ask your question.
Can I take a moment as Ophelia jumps on, just to add a little bit to the evaluation piece of this? Your preceptors will have a pretty standard evaluation set of criteria that they receive, and then they build their evaluation based on those standard criteria as well. It's designed to be ramped up so that you may start slow depending on which program you're in, but then you will ramp up and you would have very specific guidelines, and they will share those guidelines with you. Okay.
Dr.
Thank you,
Etienne,
Dr. Etienne.
do you mind if I actually kind of say my piece as well? So just like you said, it's very specific to the program. For my specific program, I had a training, MSL training, which has been lasting for the last 3 months. And so after that training, I would also be able to do a certification. And so for this certification, I had to present while also answering questions about the therapeutic areas for the particular drug that I'm on. And so I just completed that training right now. And so now I'll be getting evaluated based on projects, having one-on-ones with my preceptor, trying to seek out and be intentional with the way that I move throughout my time in the fellowship. And so like Dr. Etienne said, and you know, as everyone else has alluded to, it is very company specific. It's very, you know, therapeutic area like specific. And so, yeah, that's a great question. I just want to make sure that I kind of emphasize that it was just different among each company.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Etienne and Femi, for sharing that. At this time, we will move on to, I also see Sochima Oriaku, whose hand is raised. At this time, you can come on camera and ask your question.
Good evening. My name is Sochima Oriaku. I'm from the University of Maryland, Eastern Shore School of Pharmacy. First, I want to thank all the fellows, Dr. Etienne, Dr. Olajide, and anybody that I missed for this presentation. It was really insightful and helpful. So my question pertains to AstraZeneca and GSK that requires the fellow to take the NAPLEX and the DC MPJE. Does Howard provide any financial assistance with supporting the student to take the NAPLEX and the MPJE? And do they provide the actual study materials only for the DC MPJE? Because some students might be from out of state or might be a Maryland resident. and might not have the access to the actual DC and PJE study materials such as an actual Howard student might have.
I think I can try to answer your question from AstraZeneca. Hi, Sajoma. Yeah, so for Howard University, yes, we do get reimbursement back once you complete your MPJE and your NAPLEX. You can get reimbursement back for the money that you spend. Yes.
And I can add to that. I think from the Howard perspective, we are encouraging all candidates to be licensed. It's encouraged because these are specific to PharmD candidates. You are top tier candidates, and we're going to actually provide some support for the NAPLEX. So as we saw with GSK, some of the clinical rotations, you are required to be licensed in advance. So I just want to make sure we mention that it's encouraged as a pharmacist, and is encouraged as a development for your role in healthcare. Dr. Etienne, anything to add to that?
Yeah, sure. So Chima, certainly the concern coming out as a student is whether it is I can indeed afford those costs, right? So we eliminate that barrier by covering the cost of your licensure. Does it add value? It absolutely adds value to you and to your development and to the organization that you're in, because as a practicing pharmacist, you think differently at times. You're able to then get further experiences in areas that make your decision-making capabilities far more precise. Okay, so you want to be able to have that experience. And then you spend all of this time certainly going to school, and we don't want to deprive you of the opportunity to be a practicing pharmacist. Again, you know, it certainly does allow flexibility. So we wanted to ensure that as a program, we provided that opportunity to each and every fellow. As far as the question about the materials are indeed available. Different people study, differently. So there may be things that you decide that you wish to get that may not be part of the typical packet. We can have that discussion. Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Etienne. At this time, I see Ophelia join back on, and I know her hand was raised. So Ophelia, if you would like to come on camera, unmute and ask your question.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. I was having a connection issue. Once again, my name is Ophelia. I actually graduated from Texas Southern University in 2022. My question, I actually have two. One is a general question. Well, where will we be able to find the recording after this session is ended? And then secondly, for any company rather that has attended tonight, is there any way, like for a fellow, are you able to create organizations within the company? Let's say for a therapeutic area of your interest that you may find, very important or think that the company could benefit from?
The recording, I'll just go ahead and just to not have the silence. The recording will reside on the website, Dr. Olajide. All right. Once we're done, as far as flexibility within organizations, I think I could speak candidly for all of the organizations represented here this evening, and some not, that they are interested in the advancement of the individual. So if there is something that allows the person to advance along with the organization advancing, they will give you the flexibility to bring that forward. There are existing committees in most organizations, and if your particular area of interest may fall under one umbrella or the other, they may, condense that for you. But the interesting thing, I think, what I hear behind your question is whether you have the ability to be yourself or to explore outside of your typical quote unquote a fellowship description. And yes, you do have that ability. We want you to be creative. We want you to be entrepreneurial and have innovation within what you do. Okay.
Thank you so much, and
Yeah.
thank you all for hosting this amazing webinar.
Dr. Etan, I could speak a little bit from the Bayer perspective regarding the organizations, right? Currently we have about 22 fellows on site, right? And they work together to develop various organizations, various meetings, anything to advance and enhance the experience of all the fellows. I mean, I don't know, recently, about 2 weeks ago, our fellows got together and developed a meeting where they met with all of us, all of the leaders. And then they would ask us questions around, how do you navigate the corporate matrix? What was your experience like in terms of excelling through the programs and through the actual industry itself? Things like that. So all of the fellows get together, 22 plus, regardless if they're from, eventually it would be Howard University Pharmacy Fellowship, as well as Rutgers, some University of Washington. They all get together as one, and they develop various ideas that are really focused on development for all of the fellows. So hopefully that helps.
Thank you once again.
Thank you so very much. Yes. Thank you for that wonderful question, Ophelia, and thank you, Dr. Etienne and Larry, for answering that question. At this time, I know it's around like 8:46 here in Eastern Time, and we end at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'll do 2 more questions on camera, and then the other participants, could you please place your questions in the chat, and the leadership team as well as the fellows will respond to your questions via email. So the next person that I'm going to open the floor up to come on camera to ask your question is Delina and Werikowi, and I'm apologizing in advance if I mispronounce your name.
It's okay, no worries about that. Hi everyone, my name is Delina Anwarikowi. Thank you guys so much, first off, for this beautiful webinar. It's very insightful. My question is for us students and graduates who have like limited industry experience, but we have much more experience within like retail and clinical experience. How can we use the skills that we've acquired in our respective fields in order to like better fit certain roles within different fellowship positions?
Great question. And at this time, I will open it up for Dr. Elijah Day or Dr. Etienne to answer this question, but I also want a fellow, one of the lead fellows, to answer about their experience as well.
Yes, thank you very much for that question. I will say that being a pharmacist in industry, you are the medical expert. You know the clinical knowledge, you have the background. So you bring that to the voice of people making drugs for patients, right? As pharmacists and folks being in the healthcare field, we know the patient's voice. So that is extremely valuable in the space of corporate America. And think about the skills that you've learned in your clinical experiences, even in the community. You are learning transferable skills for industry. You're thinking about interpersonal relationship skills, communication skills, being able to negotiate, right? Very important amongst colleagues and also with customers. So you take this into industry and it's extremely valuable. So keep your mind up and know that you are able to succeed in industry with your skills. Dr. Etienne, anything else to add?
Certainly. We are hiring people first and foremost, okay? So your experience as a pharmacist, your training as a pharmacist is what's going to get you to the next level. So if your concern is, hey, I didn't quite have as much experience as the other person because those experiences were not available to you, what experiences are you bringing to the table that demonstrates your capability, that shows that you are indeed a leader, that shows that you are indeed the individual who will fail forward, that shows you are the person who understands what it is you're looking for, that demonstrates that you can tell us exactly who you are and how those capabilities really match with the position that you're trying to get to. You gotta have you have to be able to dig and do that, and that is irrespective of what role that you're considering. So you as a person is what we're looking at. That's what the organization wants. We're playing the long game here. So you come with that basic skill set, you demonstrate your capabilities there, and then you go on to the next. I don't know if I could call an audible Kathy. There are quite a few individuals with questions. Is it okay that we keep going beyond the time if folks want to stay on and get the questions answered? I don't know.
Yes, certainly, certainly. We can go on and continue to answer questions because these are wonderful questions. And Delina, I am a fellow, a first-year fellow who had no industry experience, but I was able to use all the experiences I had throughout pharmacy school to really, state why it is I think I would be a great fit for the fellowship and the company. So just leverage those experiences that you've had, leadership experience, research experience, all of those are wonderful opportunities. So don't even try to think that they're small compared to like the pharmaceutical industry experience because those are wonderful opportunities that you have had.
Hey, Coffee.
You're welcome.
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you, Kathy. No, it's okay. I just wanted to piggyback on everyone that answered your question, Delina. I'm a pretty non-traditional background, I guess you could say, but I have 10 years of retail experience. That was probably my biggest like fear coming into industry. But I will say in anything that you do, any of your background experiences, depending on the role that you want to take on, see how that role correlates with what you've done previously. For example, with Walgreens, I've trained technicians. I've even assisted with getting PTCB students to pass their exams. I also like facilitated nearly all of our immunization clinics. And so the things that I highlighted the most were like, how did I go about doing those things? It's like, we want to know your story regardless, because everybody brings unique experiences. We just want you to be able to narrate it in a way that tells us why you are applying to the specific role that you are applying for.
Could I also just add my 2 cents? I know it's kind of redundant, to share that this experience is really unique, but I think this experience is just that. And this experience across all the different pharmaceutical fellowships, where there are so many different info sessions, and, we can't speak against any other info session that's happening, but toward this program, from all the different companies and all the different programs that I observed last year when I was going through the process, and I know how rigorous it is. Howard University's programs and their perspective on you as an individual really shone out to me. I think that's something that is still unique and consistent across the companies, the partners, and across the country.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Diamond and Philip. Yes, Howard University College of Pharmacy Pharmaceutical Industry Fellowship is special and it's amazing. So apply.
Could you share
We
your
would love
email?
to
Could you
have
share
you.
your email? Because I wasn't able to put any questions in the chat for some reason. I must not have the same capabilities, but are you able to share
Okay.
maybe an email, or just in case we don't hear, I don't get a recording of the presentation?
Yes,
Certainly.
I'm
I
doing.
place oh sorry.
I am actually adding the pharmacy.fellowship@howard.edu email right into the chat, so you have easy access to it.
So it's in the chat.
Thank you so much, Dr. Elijah, for doing that.
Also, just thank you guys so much for your insight. It was very helpful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. At this time, we're going to continue with our questions. The next participant we have is Marina Ayaz, so you can unmute and come on camera and ask your question.
Hi everyone, I introduced myself before, but I'll introduce myself again. My name is Marina. I go to school at the University of Rhode Island, and I'm supposed to graduate in May 2024. I have a few questions in regard to the interviewing process. So how does the interviewing process go as far as how early we hear back, and if we hear back via email or through the Workday portal?
That is a great question, and I will open that question up for Dr. Elijah Day to respond to that.
So Marina, could you repeat your question one more time? Because I want to make sure, I think you had two questions there.
There's a few more questions, but the first one was, so as far as the interviewing process goes, what's the earliest that we hear back? And when we hear back, is it via email or through the Workday portal?
So you will receive an email from the Workday portal once you submit an application. So that's kind of a generic email. And as we continue to get applications, what we've started to do is screen folks. So make sure that folks have all their materials, and we're contacting them via the pharmacy.fellowship at howard.edu mailbox. So you will receive an email from us that way as well. And then for the interview process, so we have a rolling interview process. Depending on the company, this might vary, right? So some companies will have several, maybe 3 interviews, others will have 2. But from a Howard perspective, we will reach out to you and have an initial interview. So we'll have that conversation, and then we will be communicating with you throughout the process until you go on to the company interview process. And then, it will be a great seamless transition where you'll get communication from Howard, and you also get communication from the partner company to schedule that.
Okay. And then you said that you are screening students right now. So if I submitted my application and I'm still awaiting my letters of recommendation, is that okay that I submit those after?
That is a great question. And yes, you can submit them directly to pharmacy.fellowship@howard.edu. And, I know that Dr. Etienne also can answer questions. Myself, I can answer questions, but please send those to pharmacy.fellowship@howard.edu.
Okay. 2 more and then I'll be done. So will there be any interviews at mid-year?
Great question. Mid-year. I was waiting for someone to bring it up. So honestly, this is the first time Howard University College of Pharmacy Industry Fellowship Program will be at mid-year. So we're excited to be there. We are not planning to do interviews, but we'll be there to receive students and candidates that have questions. So feel free to come to us, and we'll put the booth number in the chat. But we do plan to receive you and answer any questions you have. We are asking that you get your applications in by November 23rd of this year. So if you're going to be at mid-year, that could be a great opportunity to meet some of our fellows and also get some of the questions that you have answered.
Awesome, thank you. And then my last question is, how do I attend the open house for Bayer? Because I just saw that there was an email, so I wasn't sure if I email or there was like a QR code to sign up.
That is a great question. So, we have the flyers. We included them in this presentation. And so what I would actually ask you to do is please put your email in the chat, and we can send you more information. We'll also send everyone, I would say, on this call that you have your emails. We'll send you the recording. The open house is happening on the 17th at 6 p.m. Dr. McCullum will be on there. Edward Hahn will be on there supporting the U.S. Regulatory Affairs role. and we can get that information out to anyone that is interested. Dr. McCollum, anything else to add?
No, actually, we're just waiting for the facilitation link, and then we'll be ready to go, actually. So we're ready to go. You'll be hearing from us soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Could you repeat the
Thank
email?
you.
It's pharmacy.fellowship@howard.edu. Is that correct?
Yes, it
Yes.
Oh
is.
my goodness. Okay, very good. And then mid-year, where is mid-year this time around? Is it in Las Vegas still, or where is mid-year?
Anaheim, California.
Okay. Do you guys have a date? Thank you so much. That's a great answer. Anaheim, California. Okay, very good. I guess we would have to. Is that part of ASHP?
So
Yes.
you could check the SHP website, and that we will have the information for that. But at this time, we really
Oh.
want to give this opportunity to the people who had their hand raised to ask a question. And also, could you guys please follow our LinkedIn page, our Howard University College of Pharmacy Pharmaceutical Industry Fellowship LinkedIn page, because we will be posting all of the flyers there for all of the upcoming information sessions. At this time, we'll have Christina Cook Robinson to come on and ask her question.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I've just heard wonderful questions. I've actually had some of my questions answered, so I thank you all for that. Thank you, Dr. Etienne, for extending the question and answer session. First, I just want to say I had the pleasure of having Milay and Nafemi as guest lecturers for my ovarian cancer and lung cancer session. So that was awesome just to hear some of the feedback and wonderful things that are being hosted at AstraZeneca and having that opportunity to share that with them. However, I am on the medical affairs track with specific interest in becoming a medical science liaison. And I'm interested, my question is a little personal. It's more so wondering how I can express myself in my letter of intent and interview. Am I geared toward expressing more about medical science liaison interest or medical affairs interest, or should I talk more about the company knowledge and, just items in pipeline and things like that? Like what I know about the company, or should I share more about myself in my letter of intent and the interview?
That is a wonderful question for our leadership team to respond to.
Your letter of intent is something that is specific to you in relation to the role that you are seeking. So we want to know about you and why it is you think this is the role for you and why you should be selected indeed for that role. Just in general, that's a general guideline surrounding letters of intent.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'm wondering because I want to express, sorry. Well, I was curious about expressing more about a specific disease state that I may be interested in and wanting to talk because maybe my research is in that direction. I didn't know how in depth I should go in about myself and the role or speak to the company while I'm actually interested in the company as well. So I think I understand what you mean. Thank you.
And before you go into the next question, Kathy, I received, I guess, I'm seeing the questions coming through on the chat and different things, and folks are seeming to ask questions about differentiation and what happens different at Howard when it comes to looking at how we onboard. Remember, keep in mind that when we onboard people, we begin the process by bringing you together first and foremost, everyone at the same time. And we deal with front-loading leadership capabilities, okay? And we deal with team building and looking at how you manage conflict, how you resolve issues, how you negotiate throughout the whole process. So our thought process with preparing a fellow is that we need to ensure that you have a foundation with which to start building upon. We understand that everyone went to pharmacy school. We expect that you would have a solid clinical base, but we're going to give you some administrative and leadership base within your first week of orientation. We also have some fun when you orient. For the past couple of years, we go out on the golf course. You learn how to play golf. You understand what those things are all about. We haven't made a decision for the upcoming year, but I'm pretty sure we're still going to stay with golf and maybe add some other things. All right. So we want to spend at least a week with you on the front end, really digging deep and allowing you to truly express yourself and know what that is all about. And by the way, there are people who spend time and chat with you during that process, because after that, down the road, those individuals will complete a psychological assessment to help you with your personal development. And those very individuals who would have observed you throughout time and so on would then become part of the coaching team that would give you information surrounding your disc analysis and those types of things. So we are different in that we believe in front-loading leadership. We believe in front-loading the basic development skills. So sometimes work is very different from being in the classroom. So we have to ensure you have that mettle ready to go to work. Okay, a fellowship is a 2-year process or 1-year process where you get out of this what you put into it. So we want you to go for the races in terms of ensuring that you are fully developed and able to step into any role in any organization, right, at the end of that process and be in the top performing group. Okay, we believe as an institution in creating leaders. Okay, so we are preparing you with the necessary foundation for you to become part of the Dr. McCollums of the world, the C-suite leaders. Okay, that's where we want you to be at the end of this process. So in your preparation, in your thinking, right, leave no stone unturned. Ask all of the questions that you can indeed ask. Don't ask questions because you just want to ask a question, but dig deep when you're asking your questions so you get all of the necessary information that you're looking for. As you would know from conversations that you may have had with some of the fellows, I am a no frills guy. I'm going to tell you like it is. Okay, my intentions are all noble in that I want nothing but the best, and I want you to come into this process, come in with thick skin. Okay, if you don't have it, let us know early on so we can help you develop it, because you need to be able to iron sharpens iron, and you want to ensure that you have gotten enough friction in this process so that you become better. If you finish your fellowship in 2 years, you're not significantly better than when you came in, then there is something that we didn't do right. Okay? We have your back, but we will also hold you accountable, right? Because this is the real world. Right? And we want you to do well. We don't want to have anyone who doesn't do well. Okay? So just, I'm no frills. I tell you like it is. Let's go for it. Whatever it is we need to do to ensure that you get what you need to get, that's what we do. We believe in situational leadership at times. We believe in making adjustments along the way, and we'll make those adjustments, and we individualize the experience for each fellow. We understand that there are formal structures in place, but sometimes you have to be able to be pliable so that we can fix something or make an adjustment for a particular individual, because that is what a particular person needs. Okay, and that's what we do here at our institution. And I'll give you back the floor to ask the question to Mohsin.
Hey, very good. Very good.
Hi everyone. Can I just,
Oh.
Kathy, can I just chime in for a second? I know.
Yes, you can say it.
There's like a general question in the chat, like who should we address the letter of intent to, and like the application process, like the portal. Can we please answer that, because I think we have a lot of questions on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
address the letter of intent to me. And let's.
Yes, and we will put that information in chat, okay?
Okay, as far as the portal goes, all right, Rosemary, correct me if I'm wrong, when an individual uploads their application, they can still go back in and edit things that need to be further uploaded. In your application process in the portal, there's an area that allows you to add files. Add all of the additional files in that area. They will come into the one catchment area for you. So if you forgot something and you need to come back in and put it in there, just go ahead and put it in there. If there are individuals who are looking for the email in terms of sending additional letters of recommendation and so on, send them to the fellowship email. If they do come to me because somebody may not have seen or heard this information, I will certainly forward it on. But we want to have a central collection point for all of the information. Jahi, did that answer all of the questions?
Hi, yes. So sorry I had to interrupt. I just wanted to make sure that question was being answered and addressed. Thank you.
No interruption at all, Jahi. Remember, we say that we call it like we see it, and we make sure that everybody has what it is they need to ensure that they succeed. So go ahead.
Thank you very much, GA, because that's an important question. And I will just add to what Dr. Etienne has stated. The portal does allow you to resubmit and add attachments, but if the case is you cannot, we encourage you to send any other documents that you may have not uploaded to the portal to our email, pharmacy.fellowship@howard.edu as well. And that way we can get all the remaining documents and have them ready to filter through when we're screening through your applications. At this time, we'll move on with the questions. There's so much wonderful information that is being shared. So I hope you guys are really absorbed in it. The next person I will call on is Mosina Sumaya. So you can unmute and come on camera and ask your question.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to say thank you all for being here to deliver this wonderful presentation tonight. My name is Mosina. I'm from Temple University, and I will be graduating this May. My question was actually related to the application portal, which Dr. Etienne actually just answered. But just for additional clarification in terms of letters of recommendations, I will be reaching out to my letter of recommenders and ask them to send me the recommendation, and then I'll upload that onto the portal, correct?
You can certainly have that done, or they can send it on your behalf to that email address.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Yes, and ensure that when they're sending it, if they could just place your name in the subject of that email, so we know that, we could filter through that, make sure that letter of recommendation is for your application.
And I just added in the chat how to address the letter of recommendation to Dr. Etienne. Okay.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Elijah. That is important as well. At this time, I will open it up to Tehut Zedu. And my apologies if I mispronounce your name, but you could come on camera, unmute, and ask your question.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Tehut. I'm a fourth-year pharmacy student from University of Illinois, Chicago. And my question is for the application, I understand for the letter of intent, we have to do one for each program that we're going to apply. For recommenders, do they send it to each program, or is there going to be just one for the whole Howard University Fellowship Program?
One for the program.
Okay, thank you very much.
And remember, we are looking for 3 letters of recommendations.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Etienne and Dr. Elijah. Dr. Etienne, is there anything else you would like to add to that?
No, we can keep rolling.
Great. At this time, we'll pass it on to Shylon Pierre Francis, so you could come on and ask your question.
Okay. Hello, good evening, everyone. How are you doing? My name is Shylon Francis. I attend the University of Louisiana Monroe College of Pharmacy. So my question is, so as time goes on and you complete the fellowship program and you master your craft in the functional area, is it possible for a fellow after the fact to come back and contribute to Howard University in some degree, maybe adjunct faculty, mentor to upcoming fellows, maybe put together some type of informational or presentation? Is that a possibility? Do you all do that?
Yeah, well, I'll take that one, Kathy. We are a family, and once you're a part of the Howard family, you're part of the Howard family. And we want feedback, we want input, we want contributions from all walks. We ask that it be professional, we ask that it be direct and real, and absolutely. As we continue to grow and develop, we have what we call a Tuesday evening session, typically happening in the spring, where we spend time with individuals talking through their life, so that they go into great detail about their journeys. It might be a CEO, it might be the VP from someplace, it may be someone who has had a unique experience and is changing the world. You have the ability to spend time and contribute in those veins. That will happen in conjunction with the lead fellows and so on. They will do all of that organization. But the short answer to your question is yes, that is possible.
And I can speak to a HU grad, right, and a former resident and working in industry. I'm back in this capacity truly to contribute. And I think we're in such a transformative period where you see all the fellows cooperating and already contributing. So there's so much to do. And as you know, when you go into industry or you go into your careers, you make a lot of money. So we say, pass it forward. There are folks that will need that at the College of Pharmacy, some students that will be struggling, either, financially or just having someone to mentor them. So please keep that in mind as you're going through this journey. You can certainly think about speaking to that when you go on your interviews, right? What do you plan to do for your future, mentees? Thank you for that question.
No, thank you.
Yes, certainly great question. At this time, I will open it up to Heidi Gabriel to ask your question.
I think Heidi asked the question already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so.
I think she's speaking.
Patience is next.
Oh, yes, I was saying that I did ask the question. I did ask the question, and you answered me with the email. Very good, yep. And
all right, thanks.
Mid-year, very good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, we'll have Patience ask her question.
Hi, thank you so much. First of all, I just want to say I've never seen so much diverse people in one, in a university. So, I live in California. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of melanin going around. But anyway, I wanted to mention, I don't know about the stipend or if they're like assistant with relocation. It's like I have 3 questions. So one is like, what are the career opportunity after you finish the 2-year course? And is there like relocation assistant and also stipend?
Okay, I guess you guys want me to take that, huh?
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. That's for you. All for you, Dr. Etienne.
All for me. All right. Of course.
All of the questions.
This is not a volunteer opportunity, so you'll be paid a stipend. Your salary we have a standard postdoctoral fellowship salary across the university, and that is currently under review. So it doesn't, I shouldn't say it doesn't matter, but all fellows get the same pay. Okay. So there will never be a situation where individuals say, well, all right, you know, my stipend is very different here or there. Now, there are some market adjustments where a particular sponsor may say, hey, listen, because you happen to be in this very high cost market, there may be some other things that we, the company itself may wish to, you know, help with offsetting. Okay. But those are individual company specific things. Secondly, in terms of relocation, we support relocation. Okay. And how we handle relocation, we typically do relocation based on a reimbursement model. I'm going to move from that to a model where it is we make some dollars available up front, so that you can indeed, you know, incur whatever the costs are up front. There are pluses and minuses to going to the upfront model. Okay. Once we dispense the relocation dollars up front, it's out there. If you happen to have more cost than what was dispensed, then that's on you. All right. So, you know, there are always ways and means to really try to adjust things. My philosophy here in doing this is to try to create the best possible experience for the individual, to try to have that person ready so they can indeed contribute on day one. Does it always work? No, it doesn't always work, because there may be times when there are changes in federal guidelines that we have to make adjustments for, and we don't have control over some of those things. All right. We are a land grant institution. We have a lot of federal involvement in what we do at Howard University. So we have to comply with stuff from the private sector as well as comply with things on the government side. But one thing you can be rest assured is that our interests are indeed your interests, because we don't want you to be a dud. We want you to be a successful person once you're done with the fellowship. Now, what happens at the end of your fellowship? At the end of your fellowship is really dependent upon you and how you perform over the course of the 2 years. Okay. If you are delivering excellence and there's a position available within the organization, the organization did not invest in you to let you go someplace else. Unfortunately, based on budget, sometimes companies may be in the midst of a transition and they may not be able to hold you then. All right. So you go to a different company, right? But the pharma world, they will tell you, pharmacy is small, pharma is small. You never know where it is you're going to be next, you know, sometime down the road. So therefore, you don't burn bridges, and you develop and deliver excellence every day. Okay. If you have a question about something and you're unsure, come to us. Okay.
I mean, I'd like to comment on that, Doctor. I mean, well said. All of your discourse has been excellent tonight. So I thank you for that. That's why I'm silent. I can't really add much to what you're saying. But in this case, I think I would give you the Bayer perspective on this, right? In terms of retention, our second year is literally focused on placing you in areas of the business that where we have the greatest need, right? And if you go in those areas where the business need is, and you demonstrate your value, right? We're looking to retain you. You know, I can go back, 7 years since I've been involved with the fellowship program, and we have 100% placement, right? 80% in my department, actually retention. Okay, so if you come through my group, 80% of the time, you get retained within our group, okay? Or some related group, med ops. I have some individuals that actually were in marketing, believe it or not, that came through the medical affairs communication. Other are actually MSLs because that's where their strengths were, and we made sure that we developed them in that area. But for those who were not retained, which was just 2 over that last 7 years, they were placed in Novartis and other companies. So we develop our fellows in a way, as Dr. Etienne said, that they are able to land positions throughout the industry. Okay.
Thank you for that.
You're
And
welcome.
I can say that for the partners that are on this call, that is the same sentiment. You know, they're investing in the professional training that you'll gain so that they can retain you. So you want to put your best foot forward while you're completing your fellowship all around. And I'm also gonna just say it's 9:25. And you know, I want to first shout out to Edward Hand because I know he's here from Bayer. He is the fellowship director for the U.S. Regulatory Affairs Fellowship. So Edward, thank you so much for making the time to join this session.
I did not see Edward come in. Normally, I don't miss a beat here. Ed, you snuck in on me.
Good evening, everybody. I've been quietly listening in on this entire conversation. As Dr. Olajide mentioned, my name is Edward Han. I'm actually a past fellow graduate myself, and I am currently the program director for the Regulatory Affairs program at Bayer. It's what an exciting time for you all. What fantastic questions, and Dr. Etienne and Dr. Olajide and Kofi. It's been very, very enlightening to hear all of the questions and the interest from you all. I'm looking forward to meeting those that are express interest in the Bayer program for regulatory affairs, and looking forward to meeting you all on the open house coming soon for the Bayer program.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Well,
you, thank you, thank you.
you know-
And I
know,
want to shout out to, oh, go ahead. Go
No, I was going to
ahead,
say,
Dr. McCall.
Dr. Han and I work closely together, but he gave his shout out, so I have to now give a shout out because I am a graduate of Howard University College of Pharmacy. There you go.
Indeed,
I love
indeed.
it. Okay. I love it. I love it. The open house for Bayer is October 17 at 6 p.m. We are going to include a flyer for that open house on LinkedIn at the Howard University College of Pharmacy Pharmaceutical Industry Fellowship Program LinkedIn page. We'll also include the other flyers. And if you've gone on there, you probably already saw there's a Genentech Howard open house tomorrow. Janssen is happening on the 12th. So please take a look at the LinkedIn page. I know for Janssen, it's also on the IPHO calendar. Tons of opportunities coming up. I know GSK's is coming up and others. So please stay tuned on the LinkedIn page for the College of Pharmacy Pharmaceutical Industry Fellowship Program. And
Rosemary,
Dr. Etienne has something to add.
There was one hand left. Miss Newsom.
There is.
Cindy Newsom. Sure, if you could come on.
Hi, yes, good evening. Thank you. And thank you again for allowing me to ask my question at the very end. My question was, sorry, let me introduce myself. I am Cindy Newsom, a fourth-year Doctor of Pharmacy candidate from Florida A&M University. And my question was geared towards the companies that are not located near Howard University. I know that some of the partners specified that a teaching certificate was required. So just a question about how are the fellows that are not located directly near Howard University involved with the university? Is it teaching or research or any other opportunities?
It will be both. You'd have the opportunity to be assigned to one of the faculty members associated with your area of specialty. And if you are if you are teaching courses based on what is being taught, we will ask you to come in person to the classroom, or if it can indeed be delivered remotely, then we'll deliver it remotely. But we individualize again what needs to be delivered based on the material, the company, the fellow, and the specific area. As we move forward, each of you will have the opportunity to deliver a continuing education program nationally, okay? And we will determine whether that happens for you in person or whether we do it online only, right? But there's more to come on that.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And at this time, before I open it up for closing remarks, I just want to extend a special and heartfelt thanks to the Retention, Orientation, and Onboarding Committee who worked hard making this session a success. Our lead fellows, Dr. Elijah Day, Dr. Etienne, our illustrious sponsors for providing these opportunities, as well as Dr. McCollum and Dr. Hadd, who's been here on this call, the company reps who did a fantastic job presenting about the opportunities that are available at their companies, the fellow community, because we have a lot of our fellows on the call answering questions in the chat. We thank you guys, and to you, the fellowship candidates, for joining this information session today to learn about all the wonderful opportunities we have here to offer at Howard University College of Pharmacy Pharmaceutical Industry Fellowship. We truly appreciate your presence on this call, and we will continue to answer your questions. If you have placed your email in the chat, we will respond to the questions. If you have questions, you can directly submit it to the pharmacy.fellowship@harvard.edu email, and we will answer those questions there as well. And at this time, I will open it up for the leadership team, the recruitment team, if they have any closing remarks.
Rosemary?
I was just on mute. I'm proud. I'm truly proud because I joined this in this capacity in June, and we have made such strides. Everyone that's a fellow on this call, and even those that are not on this call, are truly dedicated to making this program a success. And today is truly a productive day because we've planned for weeks to get this together, and I'm just truly proud of how it turned out. I am excited for prospective candidates. You all have done a lot of work. We want you to be at ease and show up as yourself, because truly your journey begins not just now, you've done a lot up till this point. So I want to send that word of encouragement to everyone that's looking for a position. We will support you as best as we can. And thank you, Dr. Etienne. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to him, but he is the pioneer of this program. And I tell you, there's so much that he has put into ensuring that we have a top caliber program. So without further ado, I think I've thanked everyone. I will pass it to Dr. Etienne for additional closing remarks.
Well, thank you so much for you all for being here. It certainly is a testament of what we are all about, to see so many individuals here on this line so long after we were scheduled to close. We believe in individualizing everything that we do. We believe in ensuring that you as a fellow, you as an organization, whether you're a corporate representative or what, we give you what it is we expect and you expect that you would get in a relationship with Howard University. This fellowship and this fellowship process didn't start last evening. We have a long history of delivering excellence, and we will continue to do so. We look for partners who are flexible. We look for partners who are truly engaged and wanting the best out of the people. We understand that in the corporate world, there is a bottom line. And when you come to companies, what are we looking for? Your role, your responsibility is to maximize shareholder wealth. How we maximize shareholder wealth is by producing diversity at a level that is unmatched. We understand that when you have diverse talent in corporations, your bottom line moves between 10 and 15%. Okay. And depending on who you talk to, and depending on what specific area we're in, that number could be much higher. So I want to thank the individuals who took time to spend time with us this evening. I want to thank the sponsors and tell you that, you know what, we are not perfect, and we don't profess to be. We're a learning organization, and we will learn and we will grow and we will learn and grow together. So we thank you for your commitment and your confidence in Howard University. Have a beautiful evening.
Thank you.